In the wake of several national tragedies, anti-gun control bots are flooding social media.
That's right. In the hours after the tragic school shooting in Texas, last week's mass shooting in Buffalo, and other recent mass shootings, these automated accounts disseminate misinformation, harass victims and gun reform advocates, and amplify anti-gun control influencers. CBS News tech reporter Dan Patterson joins us now with more on this. I have to say, it just seems criminal that people would format these bots so that they can hit people like this. How specifically are these bots and inauthentic accounts influencing the whole conversation around gun reform?
Well, that's kind of the strategic goal, which is to shift the conversation from gun control over to distracting topics like mental health or social media monitoring. It's a specific goal. Now, the tactics to achieve this goal we see elsewhere, including in climate change and other hot-button topics. They're fairly simplistic, but they're also very effective. First, you have a layer of inauthentic accounts. It's really cheap and easy to purchase bots, to purchase inauthentic accounts, specifically on Twitter. Although other social networks, in fact, almost all social networks have inauthentic accounts, Twitter is where the influencers are, and it is one of the most commonly exploited networks. So these bots spread a conversation. They use the same language over and over and over, and they show up in your replies of human influencers. This is designed to get real humans, wittingly or unwittingly, to say things and repeat the talking points like mental health or social media monitoring instead of gun control. Now, those people then amplify that to, again, a real human audience, and all of a sudden, inauthentic content ends up looking like authentic content, and it's repeated over and over. It's designed to be like propaganda repeated.
So there is someone, a human, on the other side of all of this. We hear bot, and oftentimes you think it's just, I mean, obviously there is automation involved in this, but there is someone, something, some entity
driving
behind this.
Yeah, that's right, Nancy. So we heard a lot about Russian bots and trolls in the 2016 election. A little underreported was Russian influence after shootings, mass shootings in 2018. They used very similar tactics. Now, what's happening now is really challenging. One of the consequences of the explosion of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin is that it is far easier to remain anonymous yet purchase these services. A lot of these services will accept Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So we can have large-scale actors like Russia, or we can have small actors who could be acting alone or in small cells using the exact same tactics. And often we see a mix.
And based on the messaging, based on the influencing, what do you think the goal is in mind?
Well, the goal is to shift that conversation away from gun control towards other topics.
But beneath that, with the 2016 election, with the divisiveness out there with these bots, I mean, it seems like everyone's out to do a very similar thing. And well, is that divide and conquer? I mean, is it something as big and as somewhat scary as that?
No, I think that it's actually dependent on the actor. What a number of groups have discovered is that Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and other networks are very easy to exploit. And they have found that these networks, specifically Twitter, have the incentive to not really stamp out these bad actors. Now, I have reached out to Twitter, Facebook, and others, and they won't comment on this. But the experts I have spoken with, bot experts and others, have said that, well, they could solve this, Twitter specifically could solve this, by adopting a policy that Facebook has done fairly successfully, which is a real name or real identification option. It's very easy to create a Twitter account and then abandon it, or to create these Twitter accounts en masse. And Twitter could stop this, or at least they could minimize this, by adding a real name or a real identification option.
But it's curious that you say that there's not the incentive for them to really go all out and try to cull these bots.
Yeah. Experts I spoke with earlier today said that when they worked with Twitter's trust and safety team, they were kind of pulled down or pulled off around 2018. This correlates with other reporting we've done where after 2018, Twitter put a lot of work into this, but they kind of pulled it back in 2018. And what I've been told is, and we're trying to verify this through Twitter, but what I've been told is that, look, they're a smaller social network. They need all the engagement they can get. They are kind of the zeitgeist and that advertising. At the end of the day, Twitter is smaller. They do have engagement. They need to continue to have engagement in order to keep advertisers happy and on the platform.
Really interesting. Dan Patterson, thank you very much for joining us with a breakdown of all of this. Good to see you as well.
Yeah.